This etude on Dante is marked espressivo, which means we want to strive for a really singing sound on the bassoon. I think the best way to achieve a singing sound is to sing. So I understand we probably don't want to sing in public, but just sing, get this stuck in your head, singing it in the shower. When you're practicing, it can count as practice time, especially if you have access to a piano, just playing the notes on the piano and singing along. To also achieve that really singing sound, we need to use a natural sounding vibrato. So I'm going to just demonstrate the exercise that I use to teach my students vibrato and also how I learned vibrato. Metronome on 60. And what I'm going to do is just pulse my air, basically saying ha, ah, ah, like I'm laughing or like a big jolly Santa Claus. And it's going to pulse on each quarter note of the click. I'll just do it on an open F. You can do it on any note. And it's not going to sound good, and that's what we want right now, but we just want to get those pulses. And so I'm trying not to move my embouchure at all, just moving my ab muscles. Then I speed it up to eighth notes. And then triplets. And then sixteenths. And finally fives, quintuplets. And you can hear it's starting to sound more like a vibrato that we would actually use in practice. I think this is a great exercise because it teaches us to use a variety of speeds of vibrato, not only really fast or really slow we can control. So for me, for this particular piece of music, I'm going to choose a slightly slower vibrato in the beginning. To really capture the expression and the passion of this piece of music. Another great practice technique for this is going to be just warming up with a slow, smooth scale in the key of the piece. So for this, it's D minor, same key signature as F major. So I'm going to practice just a 1 octave, really legato, smooth D minor scale. And once I feel like I've achieved a great slurred scale, then I can move on to practicing a legato tongue. And to get a legato tongue, it's just 1 taste bud, lightly hitting the bottom blade of the reed. So I'll demonstrate what that should sound like. So my air is the same as the slurred scale, it's just 1 taste bud interrupting the airstream to separate the notes. And that's the kind of tonguing I'm going to use in this etude. I'll just play the first measure with that legato tongue. So in that way, even though it's not slurred, the notes are still connected, creating a really long phrase and line. The next section, the allegro scherzando. So scherzando means playful or joking. So that to me is a signal that this needs to be pretty funny and really show off the humorous side of the bassoon. To achieve that humor, we can use really short staccatos. Really gives it some kind of funny personality. Also, I think it's important to feel this particular section in 1 and not in 3. So even though I'm going to be subdividing quarter notes, my overall feeling is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. A great way to practice that is to put your metronome on the quarter notes, so you have those subdivisions. So we'll say 152, and then just change, if you have a metronome where you can change it to 3/4. So you're getting the emphasis on beat 1. This is a free metronome app if you need it's a pretty good one. I think it's called Pro Metronome. You also can emphasize just the first note of every measure to help give it that waltzing feeling in 1. And I think that's about it for this one. One final note is that the fermata between the 2 sections is on the bar line. So that means you can take a brief pause in between the 2 sections. You don't need to hold the last note, the A, of the first section for a really long time. It's just a brief pause, catch your breath, think about the tempo of the allegro scherzando, and then move on to the next section. Are there any questions about this etude before I move on to the other etude? Okay. So the